right, good morning, everybody. It is the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry White. Good morning to everybody on Talk 107.3 FM around the capital city, Baton Rouge area. Good to have you guys with us. Everybody listening and watching on our YouTube channel. I just saw Atlanta is checking in this morning. Good morning, Atlanta. I like the way that's Atlanta. All right, not Atlanta. It's Atlanta. Good morning. Good to have you with us checking in over there. As I say always, you'd be amazed at the people that we get checking in on our YouTube from all across the United States. Because this show, although it is local, it's one of the reasons Mike and I have worked hard to make sure we continue to try to grow this thing. We got a new program here in the studio as well that my man Mike is over there mastering. Look, he's getting it together as the weeks go on. He's getting better with it as well. But we wanted to grow this thing because, you know, in the early days when it was flooding, I would get people say, man, look, y'all come on early. Because I remember we were on Thursday nights when we were over on ESPN 104.5, right? We had good drive time on the way home, but then they moved us over, and then we was on 107.3, and then we 7 to 9 on a Saturday, and I would get it all the time. Man, I missed the show this morning. How can I go back and listen? You know what? We made it simple for you. We created the YouTube, we created the Facebook, and it took some time, and it took a long time for me as I continued to preach. Hey, we should do this. Hey, we should do this. This is why we should do it. And now that we're doing it, it has grown the Jaguar Journal bigger and better than what it has ever been in the history of the Jaguar Journal, because now the Jaguar Journal is no longer just here in Baton Rouge and in the surrounding area. It is nationwide. That's what we have done with the Jaguar Journal. We've grown it bigger and better, and it's 20-plus years of it being on the air, one of the longest, if not, I believe, the longest show, sports talk show, especially black folks. Because guess what? Did y'all know, and Mike knows, I believe I am the only black person in this entire building that actually has a show. Isn't that pretty interesting? Maybe it's not, maybe it is. But in this whole guarantee broadcast media, it's just me doing the Jaguar Journal. And the fact that we're not just local, that we are national because of the power of the social media, and that's what we are growing this thing, and that's what I love about it. And I love you guys because I see the support. I see the love on the Facebook side. I see the love on the YouTube side, and we are continuously growing. And I get the love from the radio side. Shout out to my man Trevor. He's listening. He said, hey, man, you got to listen out of me. I enjoyed it. My man Trevor out there listening on the radio side, and everybody else, man. I appreciate you guys because at the end of the day, you know why I do this, because of my love for not only this city, but my love for Southern University, my love for the SWAC, my love for football, sports, and everything else, and my love for you guys, because somebody got to sit here and tell it to you. And as I'm about to tell you right now, 8:37 a.m. here in Central Standard Time, let's go back and look last week across the SWAC, right? We had some games in Week 12. Let's talk last Thursday. Alabama A&M and Grambling. Grambling goes on the road to Alabama A&M. Grambling is up in this game. 17-3 blows a lead, and Alabama A&M and Connell Manor and the Bulldogs win it 22-17 on national television on ESPN on last Thursday. Then we roll on. This was supposed to be the game that everybody in the preseason said was going to be for the SWAC West, because guess who was picked above Southern? Alcorn and Prairie View, two teams everybody had put on the pedestal to say they're going to be playing for the SWAC West. And guess what? It was playing for nothing last week in Prairie View because the SWAC West was right here in Baton Rouge, baby. Alcorn gets the victory 26-13 over Prairie View. Here's another one. Jackson State goes on the road to Alabama State and Montgomery. A hell of a game. Both teams struggle. How about Alabama State? Only 4 passing yards in this ball game, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it correct. Only 4 passing yards for the Hornets, but yet it was their defense that gave it a tough day to Jackson State. Jackson State gets a safety late in this ball game, and they seal the deal as well as win the SWAC Eastern Division title by beating Alabama State 16-10. Then you have Texas Southern and Bethune-Cookman. Interesting matchup. Bethune-Cookman pushed Southern, gave Southern all they can handle in 5 overtimes. And Texas Southern has been a team right there chipping away. And my, oh my, do I know they go back and look at that botched punt against Southern that ultimately sent that game into overtime, and Southern ultimately won it. That changed a lot of the landscape moving forward. But looking at these two teams, I think when you see it could have flipped the coin, it could have went either way, and the coin landed on Texas Southern. They won 17-14. I told you before, Southern wins 31-9 last week. And in the upset of the year, ladies and gentlemen, how about Coach Kendrick Wade and the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley State? They came into this game, had not won a game all season. Oh, and whatever the record was, that's all you need to know. And they go on the road, and they go to Bragg Memorial Stadium. So let me paint this picture for you guys. Florida A&M and Bragg Memorial Stadium. Florida A&M had a 23-game home win streak. They had not lost a game at home since before COVID. They had one of the longest winning streaks in the nation, period, at home. I don't care what level you on. They had one of the longest home winning streaks. And guess what? Valley came into this game with a streak of their own. They were on a 15-game losing streak. So you have one team on one end with a 23-game home win streak, and you have another team kind of just staggering into this game with a 15-game losing streak. You know who broke all the streaks? Mississippi Valley. They broke Florida A&M's 23-game home win streak, and they broke their own streak of losing 15 consecutive games as they earned their first victory on the season, winning 24-21 over Coach James Colsey and the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Shout out to them. I mean, a huge shout out because, once again, I thought it was something wrong with the ESPN app. I thought it was something wrong the week before when I saw Prairie View beat FAMU. Then this week when I saw Valley, I said, hell no, something is going on in ESPN. Somebody did the score wrong. Somebody got it wrong. I had to wipe my eyes. Then I had to concur with somebody else. And guess what? As we confirmed, Valley gets it done. Now, let's look at matchups today around the SWAC, right? We're already in week 13 of SWAC football. Big game today. Prairie View goes on the road and takes on Alabama State. Prairie View won this game last year and wrapped up the SWAC Western Division with a victory over Alcorn State as they got that one last year. Alabama A&M goes on the road to Mississippi Valley. I'm out of Valley's way. Kendrick Wade, hey, Cornell Maney, you better watch yourself because right now Valley may just get you up at Itabena, but that should be a good one, not a good one. 1-10 Valley versus a 5-5 Bulldog Alabama A&M. Hey, my man Charlie Neal is up in Pine Bluff. I made sure we were on the local news, the radio station on 99.3 up in Pine Bluff yesterday. Charlie and I talking. I said, man, let's make sure we give my man Charlie Neal a turkey leg because every time he comes to Pine Bluff, he hits me up and say, hey, I'm in your neck of the woods. And I put out the PSA for everybody to bring him a turkey leg. So I said yesterday, we're going to put you on the radio. So I made sure the whole Central Arkansas yesterday on 99.3 heard Charlie and I to make sure they bring him a turkey leg. That game is going to be broadcast on HBCU Go today. It's going to be Texas Southern taking on Pine Bluff up at 2 o'clock. Pine Bluff 3-8, Texas Southern 4-6 in this ball game. Let's move on. Right up the road, rivalry. I was going to head there this weekend today, but I just had a lot going on. I was down in New Orleans last night. I had a second-round playoff game last night that I didn't get home to nearly a little bit after midnight by the time. That's why it was rough on me this morning. Had to get down and officiate a playoff game down in New Orleans, and they kind of threw me off of everything. But I was going to head up to Lorman, Mississippi, as Jackson State and Alcorn. Hey, the Soul Bowl, when it is played up on the reservation, used to be the Capital City Classic when they did it every year in Jackson. But Alcorn said, nah, man, bring this on back to our campus. We got to make this campus of the stadium because Jackson clearly don't have a stadium on their campus, but Alcorn does, Jack Spink Stadium. And this is going to be at 2 o'clock ESPN plus a hell of a rivalry game. Throw out the records in this one. Although Jackson State has already wrapped up the SWAC East, they had some suspensions last week because of an altercation at the end of the game with Alabama State. Alcorn State comes into this one, nothing more than to beat Jackson State and to clear out their winning streak. I know that's what they want to do is Alcorn in this one 6-5 as they're going to end the season. Jackson State already has their date set at home against Southern on December the 7th as they come in this game 9-2. And then the Florida Classic between Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman. A month ago, I say this would have been Florida A&M's. Bethune-Cookman may just upset these folks today, the way Florida A&M has been playing. The FAMU Rattlers on a 2-game losing streak, having lost to Prairie View, having lost to Mississippi Valley. And you look at the way Bethune-Cookman has been playing, I think they can hang with the Rattlers, and this should be one hell of a game. 2:30 kickoff today, ESPN Plus. It is the Florida Classic, one of the biggest classics, one of the biggest FCS football games in the nation, annually having between 50 to 70,000 people over in Orlando, Florida for this huge rivalry matchup. And this is going to be a good one this year because it actually seems like Bethune-Cookman has a chance this year, and it's just not Florida A&M's. And so that it will wrap up your Week 13 games to watch out. Everybody playing early, even Alabama and Valley at 12 o'clock. Let's get ready to take a break. We come back on the other side. As the mayor said, 4 more. I'm going to throw them foes up because we're going to get ready to close it out. All right, y'all stay tuned. More of the Jaguar Journal.